for some reason for Instagram, you would be full helmet, kit, lots of camo. I'm out here in blue jeans and a Meridian shirt doing back pocket reloads.
Yeah, that's because Bob Lee Swagger, you live in the middle of the mountains in Oregon. You have a range in your backyard, and you train what you fight in. Ooh.
No, see, so what Parker Mountain did is they changed the jet in the front of it. And this is actually, the SCAR comes with a 16-inch barrel. And so Parker Mountain machine cut this down to 14.5 and pinned and welded the Huxworks adapter for it. And honestly, the flow-through cans are definitely the thing for finicky gas guns that don't like suppressors. I kind of found that running a regular can on my Bren 2 being a little gassy, and I've ran the SCAR suppressed with Surefire cans and FN cans, and it's fucking gassy. And so this Huxworks definitely allows for enough flow that you don't get a bunch of gas back in the face, and it runs really well. All right, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you folks may be, the much anticipated, at least for the people who have been following me for a while, first SCAR video. So this is my SCAR16. FN doesn't know who I am. So, they might. I don't talk to anybody at FN. I got this in trade, had a bunch of guns I wasn't shooting, went into my local FFL, we did some bartering, and I walked out with this. This gun was literally purchased because I have such a strong stance historically over this platform. Having been in the military through its development, implementation, the 16 and 17 into the Mark 20, don't have the highest regard for FN as a company or the contract and how it was ran in SOCOM. So that being said, I knew that FN had implemented some things that we had been asking for a really long time, like non-reciprocating charging handles. And I really do believe that if you're going to take a strong opinion on something, you have to be willing to take a step back and reevaluate it after some time to see if the opinion still stands. So I put my money where my mouth was and got a SCAR. The one thing I didn't want to do though is I wanted to see if I could actually make it a gun that I would like. In its stock configuration, it has a really thin pencil barrel, still has the pick rail sides. It's a very basic and kind of European design with a short handguard that doesn't leave a whole lot of room for accessories and things. And so I basically went and approached Parker Mountain Machine, and we threw the entire catalog at this gun. We've got the M-Lock extended rail, the pick and titanium rail delete panels, the pick rail bottom, which turns into M-Lock. I've got the selector, magwell. He rejetted it, cut and pinned and welded it to 14.5 instead of 16. I've got the 1913 backplate with their buffer tube adapter and Geisley trigger with their modified, I think this is the BCM Gunfighter grip. I'm running an Aimpoint Comp 5 on a Unity riser, mod light on an Arasaka mount with a mod button. Oh, and QD swivels all over the goddamn place. We're on a BCM stock on this thing and a Huxworks Flow 5.56K. Let's talk about this gun versus a stock gun. Stock gun still leaves a lot to be desired. The non-reciprocating charging handle is much improved over the original system. It is still slightly a bit more complicated than similar systems. I also have the APC 5.56 and a couple other very similar guns. But it does work. It doesn't reciprocate. You get rid of that SCAR thumb from keeping your thumb too high and catching that charging handle on recoil. I still don't like the profile of the barrel. It does. I think they're trying to keep the weight down, but being a gun that you're going to run a lot, that really thin barrel does. It's just not my style for being a gun that I'm going to run really hard. It was made better by cutting it to 14.5. I do like the size of this gun overall much better. The stock trigger and controls still suck. So the Geisley and the Parker Mountain are much improved over factory, and the UGG boot is gone on this gun. Not for any other reason than I wanted to try out these parts. The UGG boot works fine. It doesn't have the same issues that the original generation had that we had, which is basically if you slapped it, the button on it that folds it would break, and then you'd have a gun that couldn't handle recoil whatsoever. I have about, like most guns I've been talking about the last couple of videos, I've got about 3,000 rounds on this gun, ish, plus or minus, and it's been fine. It's had no issues whatsoever. The guns runs really good suppressed. At the retail this comes in though, and the amount of money it takes to put the parts on it to make it this good, this is a $5,000 plus gun. So at that price point, do I think that this is worth it in comparison to some other guns you can get, whether that's a Bren 2 or an APC 5.56? I really don't. The Bren 2 has been really reliable. The APC 5.56, for being this almost or similar, or if not slightly less than the FN SCAR, is just as good of a gun. And I've had now, it doesn't have as much of an aftermarket support as the SCAR does. And if you really want a SCAR for video game reasons or whatever, I highly suggest going and buying the entire catalog of Parker Mountain parts, because this gun is really enjoyable to shoot. It's super flat. I've had no issues with it as it sits. Now, time will tell over 10, 15, 20,000 rounds, but my SCAR set up this way, it's a good gun. It's just, it took $5,000 plus to get it here. So that's up to you to decide if it's worth it for you. So, yeah, that's all I really have to say on. That's like a Forrest Gump moment. That's all I really got to say about that. I will continue to shoot this gun, and it will stay in my safe. I'm Joe with Bruiser Industries, and I'm out.